After all, a girl might expect almost anything on a second honeymoon. Anything. But murder.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of the Abbotts, starring Les Damon and Claudia Morgan as Pat and Jean Abbott, those popular characters of detective fiction created by Francis Crane. NBC invites you to join Pat and Jean each week at this time for another exciting recorded adventure in romance and crime. Now here is Jean Abbott to set the stage for tonight's puzzle in murder.
Pat and I had left San Francisco, our hometown and headquarters for Pat's business as a private detective. We'd taken the car and headed off into the mountains, high up, where it was cool, quiet, and we could be alone. You can underline that word, alone. We were going to enjoy a second honeymoon. Enjoy is putting it mildly. We had so much fun, we decided to play hooky from the Cops and Robbers game for an extra week and drive east across the plains. Just wander and stare like tourists at the scenery. Chat with the characters in those isolated towns. Wind up evenings at a lodge under a desert sky. The heartland of the states as you drive across is empty for huge stretches, with raw gashes cut deep into the bare face of the earth. It's rock-strewn, solitary, sometimes ominous. Blue, Pat?
Oh, a little, darling. Just thinking about this racket I'm in.
Oh, what's wrong with it? You catch killers, you earn a fat fee.
Yeah, big deal.
Oh, what's the matter with that, dear?
Oh, I don't know. I understand the details. Chemistry, physics, ballistics, law, that's easy. But why? Why this business of supposedly civilized human beings knocking each other off around the clock? I hope no reporter ever asked me my philosophy of crime. I haven't any.
Well, you're not usually philosophic, Pat. I know the symptoms, dear. When you get talkative and moody, you're, hungry.
Maybe.
Look, that sign.
Where?
Oh, we just passed a sign. It said, approaching Carville. How's for stopping there and having a steak?
Okay. Carville. Carville?
You know the town?
Oh, yeah, now I know. Larry Martin works here.
Well, who's Larry Martin?
He's a newspaper man, friend of mine. He used to work in San Francisco. Now he's managing editor of the Carville Register. We look him up.
Oh, that's a novelty.
What is?
An old friend of yours turning out to be a man instead of a gorgeous woman.
Dull, huh?
Oh, no, not for me. Maybe for you. You used to know women, brother.
Please. My wife is around.
Oh, sorry. What kind of guy is Larry Martin?
Oh, he's a crusader type. He used to say, I may be a starving newspaper man, but I take no applesauce from anybody. Sounds corny, but he meant it. He's out of date, but wonderful. You like him. And yarns. Oh, that guy'll spin them all night. People he's met, impressions he's had about life.
Well, let's not get too enthusiastic, pal. We'll end up killing a whole evening with him. And this is our second honeymoon, remember?
Oh, no. Later on, you'll have to do something to remind me of it.
As you approach Carville, you sense the excitement of a boom town. The flashing neon signs in the twilight and a bit too big. Joey's air-cooled cafe, beer on ice, gas, souvenirs. The field hands dismount from their horses to play the pinball machine in the lobby of a cheap hotel. The newly made signs are crude with staggering prices. Shave, $1.50. You tense a bit coming in over the railroad tracks on the highway. Well, you know a boom town often has a rough crime rate, too. Carville was a mining town before. The wooden arms of the old dredges and cranes loomed up against the dark sky, like gallows.
Oh, we don't have to bother looking for Larry in the phone book, dear. See the little two-story building over there? Carville Register.
Oh, fine, Pat. Oh, there's a parking spot.
Uh-huh. I used to tell Larry...
Don't turn around, dear.
Huh?
Just park quickly and quietly.
Why, what is it?
A staring contest. First, that cop glared at us for no reason, and now there are two men behind us staring.
Well, so what? It's a small town. We're strangers.
It looks like they hate you before they met you. It gives me the shivers. We raced up the rickety stairs of an old building. We found Larry Martin, the newspaper man. He was surprised and happy and insisted that we walk around with him and see his presses and teletypes. Then we went to dinner at a roadhouse on the state highway. It was a roadhouse you wouldn't expect in normal times. There was dice, roulette, slot machines. One of them even played for $100 gold pieces.
The carnival's doing all right, huh, Pat?
Yeah, Larry. How long will it last?
Well, no telling. That vein of ore they struck just doesn't seem to have an end. Besides, we're on the main road to Ferguson City, and there's been ore discovered there, too.
Uh-huh. Well, how's it going, Larry? The paper, I mean.
Oh, great.
You still saving the world every day in print?
No. I don't get out to the prospecting area much. Too busy at my desk. But there's some amazing stories about get-rich-quick boys breaking from there.
Well, who's the big shot?
Who do you mean, Jean?
Oh, that short, fat fellow. Just came in with the blonde girl, the one everybody's bowing and scraping to.
Oh, that's Uncle Walter.
Uncle Walter?
Walter Bradford. Now, there's the kind of amazing thing I mean. Walter used to own a general store here. Made a small living. Along came the boom, and Walter's probably the most important man in town. Very popular, very generous. That's why we call him Uncle Walter. He's an easy touch.
Well, if he's so popular, why the two mugs with him?
Those guys? Just friends.
Well, the blonde doesn't look like his wife. His wife would be older, not quite so brassy.
Well, she's, his girl, that's all. Quite a kid, Florence. Used to work in a diner on the highway.
Now she's wearing a mink. Yeah, she must be quite a kid.
Does Bradford own this place?
Might have a small piece of it, I don't know.
Well, he certainly doesn't mind fighting in public.
What have you been up to, Pat? I got a wire story about you solving a robbery in San Francisco, but where were you before? It's been 2 years.
If you know this Walter, you better calm him down.
I'll never forget the last night we spent together, Pat. At Santa Monica, wasn't it?
Pat, look at that Florence go marching out. Talk about leaving in a huff.
Pat was supposed to get on the train back to see you, Gene. Do you mind if I tell her what happened?
Oh, go right ahead.
Well, the party was on the beach, Gene, not far from where Sunset Boulevard hits the Pacific and...
Pat!
It's outside,
Pat,
Gene. Something's happened out there.
They'll straighten it out. Just stay here.
Stay here? I just saw that blonde fall down through the glass door.
Same old Pat. Smells trouble like a hound dog. Goes racing for it. Come back, Pat.
I'll go with you, Pat.
Pat, I'm
I'll
telling
be
you...
right back, Larry. If I can push my way through this crowd. Excuse me, please. Where are you, Gene?
Right behind you, dear.
There. Now...
Pat.
Huh?
Pat, she's dead. That spring knife stabbed her.
What's everybody standing around for? Send for the police.
Who are you?
Pat Abbott, private detective.
You can leave.
I said, did anybody send for the police? Don't allow anyone to leave the club. Lock the doors. Is there a doctor here?
You're all excited, aren't you, Mr. Abbott?
No, not at all, pal. Just routine.
I said you can leave. We'll try to struggle along without you.
Okay. I just wanted to help, Mr. Bradford.
How did you know my name?
Your Uncle Walter. It gets around.
The coroner's coming. He'll take care of everything.
Uh-huh. Now, somebody must have seen what happened. Who did? Mr. Bradford and this girl were just outside this doorway here.
Well, anybody see what happened? I said, did anybody see what happened? You see, Abbott? Nobody saw nothing. Nobody.
Well, that's ridiculous. Half a dozen people were standing here. You, from the parking lot. And you, the hat check girl. You both saw it, didn't you?
You're stinking drunk, Abbott.
Oh, come on. I'm perfectly sober.
What do you mean saying he's drunk? And what's this all about? Where are the police?
Break up this crowd. Everybody out. Quit snooping around. Are you hard of hearing, Abbott? I said everybody out.
Yes, I heard. I'm staying till the police arrive. A girl has been murdered. There are half a dozen witnesses. I want it cleared up.
We clean up our own mess. We don't want no help from outsiders.
When it comes to murder, you've got no choice.
You're in Carville, mister. We run it this way. You fancy guys can have your own ideas.
Now, look, Bradford, I wouldn't be boasting about this deal if I were you.
My gosh, and we were so hospitable to you, weren't we?
Murder is murder, Mr. Bradford, in Carville or anywhere else.
Oh, is that so? Well, now, I wouldn't have known that. I'm what you smart guys call a poor hick, Abbott. Never had a chance to learn much. You might think that was too bad. But it's awful handy sometimes being ignorant.
You're covering up a murder, Bradford. Now,
You let go of me. Now, you look, Abbott. Don't go sticking your kisser into something where you don't belong. No wonder I don't like your type. You talk too much. You get hot-headed. You think everything's your business.
Pat, listen to me. Now, calm down. Come here. I got to talk to you. Pat, will you listen?
What kind of a town is this?
He won't listen to reason, Larry. Not from me, anyways. You try if you want.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bradford.
yes, sir.
Pat, get out of town now as fast as possible.
Are you crazy, Larry? What's got into you?
I don't understand what you're trying
Jean, Pat, I lied to you.
You what?
Walter owns this place. He owns the town. He runs it. We have a figurehead mayor and a phony police department. Brawls happen in this trap every night.
to. Brawls. This was murder.
I'm telling you, this is Walter's town. He gets away with anything.
He and his hoods.
Everybody in this town either owes Walters or is scared of him.
You too?
Yeah. Me too. Look, there's no time to explain. I know how Walter thinks. I know what he's liable to do.
What's he liable to do? I recognize the spring knife that killed that girl, Larry. The sterling silver handle. Bradford was toying with it at the table before they went outside. This is an open and shut case. Any jury would convict him in a minute. He'll be in the death house very soon.
That's what you think. Oh, you're still the same, Pat, huh? Same cockeyed sense of justice that works overtime. Doesn't always come out that way, Pat.
Larry, you can't just write this off. They aren't going to wipe that girl's blood off the floor, toss the body in the drink, and forget it. I won't let them. The authorities won't let them.
What authorities? The police of this town? Some other town, you think? Who's going to tell him? Who'll testify against him if by some miracle he's brought to trial? Run for that parking lot, Pat. Take Jean and head for the highway this minute. The coroner will clean up.
Clean up? Run away? Me?
Yeah, you. The big deal detective who's up against the facts of life for a change. He'll knock you off, Pat. You're the only thorn in his side now, you and Jean. As long as you're within this city limits, you're fair game, a walking target. I've got to get back to the office, make up the first edition. Remember, just get out. Don't pick a fight. Don't ask questions. Write to me, huh? Tell me how it goes. And take care. Keep your nose clean.
Now, Larry, wait a minute. I don't get it, Jean. He's like a terrified rabbit.
Well, what'll we do?
Call the state police, that's what. Come on, I'll show you. Now walk out casually. No wisecracks. Head for the door, then dash for the car.
We stole out, bewildered and tense. Pat was very bitter. Walter and his boys obviously had an eye on us. But we got out and found a phone booth.
All right, this will do it.
Who are you calling, Pat?
Ferguson City. This town is sold out. Bradford owns it like it was his own backyard. We need help from outside. I'll have the state troopers here in 10 minutes.
Your call, please.
State Police Headquarters, Ferguson City. This is urgent.
One moment, please.
Watch the door, Jean. If you spot anybody that looks suspicious, tell me. I'll hang up. We'll try from another place.
Sorry, sir. Lines to Ferguson City are tied up.
All the lines?
I can try again later. May I have your name and number?
Never mind. Lines are tied up. That's a stall. Bradford's got that night operator working for him. It's a cinch in a little town like this. 2 o'clock in the morning. Why would the lines be tied up?
Well, how about sending a telegram?
No, telegram office is closed. I noticed it on the way over.
Well, let's drive there. It's about 50 miles. We can make it in an hour, dear.
Right, come on, to the car. You got the road map?
In the glove compartment.
Okay.
Start towards the highway, and I'll give you instructions as you go, dear.
All right. We forget to put gas in this thing? No, look. Tank is full. I'll try the lights.
Oh, they go on fine. Nothing wrong with the battery. You can hear the spark.
Yeah. I think I know why we can't start. Wait here.
What is it, Pat?
That's what I thought. They botched up the motor while we were calling. We'll never start this car tonight. Come on, Jean, get out.
Okay. Where are we off to?
To the bus station.
Wait, Pat.
Huh?
Don't move.
What?
Across the street, 2 mugs. They were with Walter. You see them under the street lamp?
Yeah. All right, walk slowly. That's it, easy. See them reflected in that shop window?
Pat, this whole town is a trap for us.
Yeah. All right, walk faster. But when we hit the corner, run.
We made it to the corner. We ran 2 blocks in the pitch-black night. We saw the bus station. It was deserted. But there was a light on and a man at the ticket booth.
Help you, ma'am.
We want 2 tickets on the next bus to Ferguson City.
Ferguson
Please,
City.
please, hurry.
Ferguson City. Sorry, it's all reserved.
When does it leave?
Ma'am, be here in about 30 minutes.
There's no one around. Where are the passengers with the reservations?
Well, it ain't our fault if they don't show up.
Uh-huh. What other buses leave tonight?
Ain't no more tonight.
You sure?
You trying to tell me my business?
Never mind, skip it. Come on, Jean.
Pat, the railroad station. We could try that.
Yes, maybe. It's obvious that Bradford's got everybody eating out of his hand. Which way is the railroad station?
2 blocks north.
Thanks. Let's go, Jean.
Oh, Pat, the ticket booths are closed.
Well, there must be somebody around here. Trains come through. They wouldn't desert the place. Hello in there. Anybody inside? Open this window. Come on, open up in there.
Take it easy, stranger. What are you trying to do? Break something? Wake up the whole town?
I'm sorry, officer. There doesn't seem to be anybody around.
So what?
Well, I want 2 tickets on the next train out.
Ticket seller's going to eat.
Well, there must be somebody here.
Ain't nobody.
Are you sure, officer?
I'm sure. Now cut out banging on the door and yelling, or I'll haul you in for creating a public disturbance.
Well, when is the ticket seller coming back?
I wouldn't know.
Where does he go to eat?
What business is it of yours? He ain't here. He won't be back for a long time. Now move along.
Pat, there isn't any way out. And I'm afraid they'll kill us.
Yeah. You can kind of feel it. Sense it in the air. They're watching us. Waiting to make the kill.
Pat, darling, I'm so scared.
I know, dear, I know. But we mustn't stop trying. Now, come on. There's one more chance. A gas station might be open on the highway. Yes, look, there's a gas station, see? Now, we just wait for a car.
It's awfully lit up here, Pat.
So we'll crouch down here, back of this sign. Now, if anybody leaves a car open for a second, we grab it.
Uh-huh.
Shh. There's one.
No, he won't get out, Pat. He'll just ask for gas and sit there.
That's right. But the station attendant will turn around then. Maybe go inside to get change. We'll get a break. The driver will be alone at the wheel. We're lucky. The man is driving and he's alone.
How do we handle it?
Now, look, I'll slug the driver. You jump in, grab the wheel. I'll toss him aside and get in with you. Now, this is our last out, Jean. Now, come on. Watch. Wait. He asked for the gas. Good, he wants something the guy has to get from inside. All right, now I'll sneak around the far side by the guy's wheel. Grab him from in back. You go in the other side. Now, it's got to be done very quickly. You ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Sorry, pal. I'll take this car. Get in, Jean.
I'm in?
I'll let go of your throat in a minute, pal. I'm not going to strangle you. I just don't want you to make any noise. Sorry, I've got to borrow the car. I'll just toss you over the side. Take it away, Jean.
Which way, dear?
Just follow the signs to the state highway.
Oh, brother, I thought we'd never get out of this town. Oh. I guess we're in the clear.
No, faster, Jean. Drive faster. That truck, Jean, look out.
You all right, Pat?
Yes.
Oh, that crazy truck driver cutting us off. He's standing right in our way. I'll get him out. Get out of the way. Pull to the side.
You're wasting your breath, Mrs. Abbott. He ain't moving, not till I get in your car.
Oh, Pat, this man...
Easy, Jean. I was afraid this was the deal.
I'm going to sit in the back of your car. Do you mind?
Yes, I
I
mind.
got my own invitation. This 38. Start up. Take the next side road off the highway.
Do everything he says, Jean.
There's a warehouse 2 blocks down. Pull up there. All right, leave the car. Don't worry about it. You won't be coming back. Walk into that warehouse. Go on. The side door's open. Push it and go on in. All right, shut the door and walk down to the far end.
Now, you're one of Bradford's suckers, huh? Taking a chance on a double murder rap for dear old Uncle Walter.
Shut up.
Suppose it gets out that you knocked us off. What'll Bradford do? Send a love letter to the death house?
I said shut up.
We drove here from farther west. They'll know we passed through Carvoon. They'll know we never got any further. They'll... Duck, Gene! Behind these barrels, follow me. You all right?
Yes, dear. Oh, what a wallop. I think he's out cold.
No, just for a minute. I didn't clip him square, just enough to knock him down. I had the wrong angle. And the shots went wild. Maybe I can get him to fire the rest of his bullets. I'll make a sound. Move the barrel. Stay very low. That's good. Now stay here. Don't budge. I'll try to sneak around in back of him. I'll crawl behind these barrels.
Okay, dear, but be careful.
Come on out, Abbott. I dare you show your face. You hear me? Come on out. Okay, Abbott. My gun's empty now. Come on out. We'll make a deal. Abbott? Where are you?
Run for the door, Gene. This time I caught him right. Now, come on, let's go.
Darling, your mouth. He's ripped it.
Never mind.
But where to now?
The whole town will be after us, hunting us like a wolf pack. Be a lynch mob. And where's that side door? Oh, yeah, good. Sure enough, there's more hoods coming down the side street. Here.
Oh, we're lost, Pat. It's just no use. It's no use at all.
Wait a minute. There's one outside chance. We're going to the newspaper office to see Larry Martin. Even if the whole town's bottled up, there's one gimmick. Come on, Gene.
Pat, I told you to get out of town. Walter's in the other room checking tomorrow's paper.
Sure. To be certain nothing leaked, huh?
What are you doing here in my office, you and Jean? Trying to commit suicide?
We couldn't get out, Larry. They cut us off, tracked us down.
I can't help you. They'd kill me, too. Now get out, Pat. I beg you. I can't help you.
Nobody can help you, Abbott.
Uncle Walter.
Well, you should be pleased, Bradford. Your boys have been doing a good job.
Not good enough. You and your wife are still alive.
Now, sit down, Bradford.
Behave yourself, Abbott. Don't give me any orders. My mob's on the way here now, and you haven't got a bloody chance. You'll be a dead duck in 3 minutes.
I said sit down. Now, get this, Bradford. I may only have 3 minutes, but it's just long enough for me to kill you. And I'll do it, so help me. Before they come to take me, I'll see that you get it, and I can do it in 3 minutes.
Pat, there are a bunch of men down the street searching buildings.
You open your yap to call them, Bradford, and I'll kill you.
Pat, you're out of your mind. You haven't a chance
I
now.
do, though, Larry. Nobody's been thinking, that's all. There is a way to contact Ferguson City. Sure, the phones are out, the roads are blocked, but you can save it. That's why I came here.
What the devil are you talking about? Look out the window, up the street. Walter's boys.
Sure, hang up, Abbott. Knock it off.
Bradford, I said if you open your mouth, I'll murder you. I've been around your type long enough to know 10 different ways of doing it, too. Now, listen, Larry. This is a newspaper. You belong to a wire service. You've got a teletype. You showed it to us before. It reverses, doesn't it? so you can send news bulletins out if a story breaks here. Now, where's your reverse teletype?
No, Pat.
You do what he says, Larry, and when the boys get here, I'll have them string you up.
Larry, where's that reverse teletype? Which one of these confounded gadgets is it, and how does it work?
Well, I think it's this one, Pat, but I don't know how to signal with it.
Speak up, Larry.
Larry, you help them like a little Boy Scout, and my boys will take care of you but good. We'll drive one of your own news trucks right over your yellow face.
Larry, I know you sold out to Bradford, but doesn't your stomach turn every time he gives you an order?
What kind of talk is that? Don't you feel good when Uncle Walter hands you the dough, Larry? Big dough? More than a bum like you ever saw in his whole crummy life? Who set you up here, small fry? Who took you on when you hopped up that freight without a dime? Is this the thanks I get? Is this the payoff?
Cut it out, both of you. I can't think.
Larry, listen to me. You can crack Bradford now. You've got him right in your own hands. And there's just about 60 seconds left. Come on, boy. This whole town has got its face in the dirt. Bradford steps all over everybody. You know the pattern. Now you can break it.
Pat, they're very close. They're almost coming up the stairs.
They'll kill us, Pat. They'll kill us.
That's right, Larry. So be smart. Just wait a minute. You going to be a penniless bum again, a world saver, a pushed around no good newspaper man? You put one finger on that teletype, Larry, and you not only break me, you'll break a dozen guys. And they'll be out looking for you, and they'll take it out on you, inch by inch.
Don't listen to him. You've been threatened before, Larry. How many times? And every time you did the right thing. Where are your guts, Larry?
They're coming up the stairs, Pat.
Well, Larry...
Flip the second key on your left, Gene. It alerts Ferguson City for a news flash.
I got it.
Now pound it like a typewriter.
All right, Gene, transmit this. Send state troopers to Carville immediately. Murder.
Walter realized it was all over. The boys, terrified when they realized state troopers were coming, backed down. Several months later, Walter was tried for homicide and convicted. He said he'd killed Florence in a fit of passion when she threatened to leave him. Nobody bothered going to Walter's execution. Nobody gave a hoot. Pat and I drove on toward San Francisco and home. Larry Martin headed east to seek a job again, but this time with his immortal soul in his pocket. Pat and I were spinning along across the desert toward the Pacific Highway. Fine thing.
Meaning what?
Second honeymoon. Ducking bullets.
Well, it's different. You've got to admit that.
Well, I'm not that progressive, Mr. Abbott. Me, I like my second honeymoons not different and fancy and new. I like everything the old-fashioned way.
The National Broadcasting Company has presented The Adventures of the Abbotts, starring Claudia Morgan and Les Damon as those popular personalities of detective fiction, Pat and Jean Abbott, created by Francis Crane. The cast included Tom Shirley and Joe DeSantis. The Adventures of the Abbotts was written by Howard Merrill. Original music composed and conducted by Dewey Bergman. Produced by Ted Lloyd and Bernard L. Schubert. Directed and recorded by Harry Frazee. This is Wayne Howell speaking. Next week, same time, same station. Another exciting adventure in crime with Pat and Jean in The Adventures of the Abbotts.
After all, if you were married to a private detective, would you let him take a case involving a dangerously beautiful woman who wants a divorce?
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of the Abbotts, starring Claudia Morgan and Mandel Kramer as Pat and Jean Abbott, those popular characters of detective fiction created by Francis Crane. NBC invites you to join Pat and Jean each week at this time for an exciting recorded adventure in romance and crime. Now here is Claudia Morgan as Jean Abbott to set the stage for tonight's puzzle in murder.
Along San Francisco's amazing, twisted, angular streets, many weird characters come marching into my husband, Pat Abbott's office. Some of them march, that is. Others kind of slide in as though they were hiding from something. The beefy gentleman who came to Pat's office this time was Walter Phillips. Phillips marched in, all right. Very cold, very sure of himself.
Well, Mr. Abbott, you've been trailing my wife?
Yes, Mr. Phillips.
You found grounds for divorce?
She's an exquisite woman, Mr. Phillips. Those green eyes. Murder.
Suppose we dispense with irrelevancies. You took this case
I took it reluctantly. You see, divorce cases are a bit messy for my taste, but the fee... Well, income taxes hit me hard.
You're
and,
stalling, Abbott. Now, what's on your mind?
I'm stalling because I don't relish these things. I've been half tempted to return your fee and skip the case.
And what have you decided?
Well, my wife wants a new fur coat for next fall, so she decided.
Well, tell me what you know, then.
Your wife's been seeing some man.
Well, I could have told you that. Is that what you demand a big fee to tell me?
Do you know who the man is?
Well, who is he?
You've heard of the gambler, Julian Stewart?
You mean...
Mm-hmm. That's it.
You're not only lazy and insolent and reluctant to take the case, you're lying.
I have all the details right here. The times, dates, addresses, nightclubs, theater tickets. You want to see the file?
Yes.
It is. The little romance has been going on for about 3 months.
Well, I find it difficult to believe.
Perhaps. Now, last week, your wife...
My wife went to Los Angeles to see her mother last week.
That's very touching. You want to know the facts? Take a look at this.
Well, where did you get this picture?
That was taken last Saturday at the Santa Anita racetrack.
Well, it's Rita, all right.
And the man with her?
I've done you an injustice, Mr. Abbott. It is Julian Stewart.
You satisfied now?
Perfectly.
Good. Now, if you'll sign a complaint, I'll arrange for an attorney to have her served within the next few hours.
You're being a bit hasty, Mr. Abbott. I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to desist.
I don't understand. You came to my office recently in a state of rage. You were incredibly upset. You hired me to get evidence.
When I married Rita, I vowed to love and to cherish her till death do us part.
I'm afraid you'll have a long wait, Mr. Phillips. Unless somebody hurries up her death.
Yes. Unless that happens, Mr. Abbott.
Mr. Phillips, if you've the remotest notion of revenge, of doing away with your wife, I would warn you now to dismiss it from your mind. Even if the notion is just that and no more, get rid of it. You're a well-known, very successful, intelligent man, full of self-confidence. You'd probably think you could get away with it. That kind of self-confidence will destroy you.
Perhaps, Mr. Abbott, perhaps. Good day, sir. You'll hear from me.
Good day, Mr. Phillips. Jean, come in.
Oh, Pat, he looked very distracted.
He should be, darling. His wife's two-timing him.
He getting the divorce?
He doesn't want it now.
Got good grounds?
Well, that depends. What's good grounds?
Oh, many things. Like a wife whose husband's so busy being a private detective, he never romances her anymore.
Well, come here. I'll fix that.
I like San Francisco better than Reno anyway. At the Abbott's household, everything was very smooth. At the Phillips palatial mansion outside San Francisco, it was very rough. Walter Phillips had gone from Pat's office directly to his wife's luxurious bedroom.
Walter, darling, I didn't think you'd be home this early.
Well, I felt I'd been neglecting you, sweetheart. Well, haven't I, Rita?
No.
It's awfully nice of you to take that attitude, Rita. But let's face it, I haven't given you 1/10 of the attention you deserve. However, from now on, things are going to be different.
Are they?
You won't have to visit your mother in Los Angeles for lack of something better to do. Oh, incidentally, how is your mother? I've neglected to ask.
Oh, why, she's just fine, Walter.
Well, that's nice. How did she like the races?
The races?
Santa Anita.
I wasn't there.
Funny. I ran into one of my friends today, and he was positive he saw you at the track.
Oh, well, one day Mother was busy, so I did go to Santa Anita.
You never mentioned it to me.
I didn't think you'd care.
But, Rita, everything you do interests me. Incidentally, when do you hear from Julian Stewart?
Julian?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him in weeks.
Really, darling?
Yes, the last time I saw him was 3 or 4 weeks ago. You remember we were all at the 84 Club?
You haven't seen him since.
No.
You're lying, sweetheart.
Now listen, Walter.
If there's one thing I detest, it's a liar. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't hurt you. My nerves, I'm rather tense and anxious these days.
Get out of this room, Walter.
But I said I was sorry. I must have lost my head. As you know, Rita, if you're not careful, you may lose yours, darling.
Rita, of course, was lying right in her pretty teeth. She underestimated Walter. After the little quiz program with her husband, she dashed off to see Julian Stewart. It was an out-of-the-way place, and Julian Stewart had purposely selected a dark corner.
What happened, Rita?
Julian, it's awful.
Oh, don't spoil those gorgeous eyes with tears, Rita. I said, what happened? What happened, Rita?
My arm, you're hurting me.
It isn't the first time you were hurt today, is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why are you wearing that veil over your face?
No, don't, Julian.
Ah, quite a shiner. Who did it? Answer me.
Walter.
Why?
He knows about us.
Who told him?
I don't know. Julian, I'm going to get a divorce.
Don't be ridiculous.
But you said...
I said a lot of things. The fact remains your husband's a very rich man. If you divorce him, where do you think you'd wind up?
We'll get by.
Oh, you don't know me very well, do you, baby? I don't want to just get by. There's no fun in that.
But what can we do?
Suppose Walter was to have an accident.
You're not serious.
Now listen to me, honey. You don't have to starve the rest of your life. Not when you can have everything in the world, all for your very own.
I don't want to hear any more about it.
You shouldn't divorce him. You'd be a sap. But he's very much in the way, isn't he? And if he dies, under what looks like very legitimate circumstances, you collect, no?
You're crazy.
Am I? Think a minute. I'm telling you, Rita, it's a snap. Nobody'd suspect a thing. Now listen. Walter keeps a lot of heavy cash in the house, doesn't he?
Yes.
Then what could be more natural than for a burglar to pay him a visit?
Julian, please.
Now, look.
Julian, we...
Then they will work for 3 or 4 hours, but once he falls asleep, he's good for the night. And as soon as he goes off, you start tearing the house apart. When you finish...
Yes?
Use this.
No.
All you have to do is pull the trigger once. Your troubles are over then.
It's stupid. We'll be caught. We'll hang for it. We won't enjoy one more sane and happy and normal minute together.
But he won't even know what hit him.
I positively won't do it.
Okay, baby. If that's how you feel.
Where are you going?
I'm leaving. Obviously, I don't mean anything to you.
That isn't true, Julian. I'd do anything in the world for you.
Then prove it.
All right. Give me the gun.
Yes?
Hi, Rita.
Carl.
In person. Well, haven't you got a kiss for your ever-loving brother?
Carl, what are you doing here?
I thought I'd run over from San Diego and pay you a visit.
Why didn't you let me know?
I wanted to surprise you.
But tonight of all nights,
But what's wrong with tonight? You can put me up for the evening, can't you?
No. You'll have to go to a hotel.
In this 20-room mansion? I don't get it. Oh. You and Walter having trouble again?
Don't talk like an idiot.
Oh, why are you so nervous?
Oh, because you pop in here like this was a boarding house or a motel. How do you know I didn't make other plans for the night?
Okay, I'm sorry. Now, calm down. It isn't that important.
I'm upset, Carl. Have you got a cigarette?
No, I'm just fresh out.
Oh, there's a pack in my bag.
This one?
Never mind, I'll get it.
All right, I've already got it. You gals carry messes.
Give me that bag.
Rita, what were you going to do with
I said
this?
give me that bag.
Whose gun is this?
None
Rita?
of your business.
Well, I think it is. What were you doing with this gun?
I told you it's none of your business.
All right, but you can't stop me from guessing. Now, let me tell you one thing, my fine, high-class, reputable sister. You're a very beautiful woman. Irresistible to most men, I guess, and very clever. But you'll never get away with murder, Rita. Practically nobody ever does. You're smart, so just keep remembering.
The odds are all stacked against you.
Hello.
Julian, this is Rita.
What's up, honey?
We can't do it tonight.
Why not?
My brother, Carl, came to town. He knows everything.
What?
I couldn't help it. I forgot myself for a moment. He found the gun, Julian.
So what? I've got another. Now, look, Rita. You made up your mind. It's tonight or never.
But with Carl in the house, it isn't safe.
Oh, forget it. Go to sleep. When you wake up, it'll be all over.
What are you going to do?
Never mind what I'm going to do. Forget it. Don't worry about it. What you don't know will never hurt you. Just leave it to Julian.
All right, Jean, I've got an hour. Let's have that lunch.
Darling, as usual, lunch with your wife will have to be skipped. There's a man outside to see you. Saw him as I came in.
Oh, who is it?
Says his name is Carl Rainey.
Well, send him in and read a magazine in the anteroom, darling. I won't be long.
Last time you said that, I didn't see you for 2 months.
I swear.
All right. On one condition, though. You must tell me what Rainey wants.
Darling, a private detective who has ethics does not tell his
Most
wife...
private detectives don't have such trusting, loyal, intelligent...
talkative, time-wasting wives. Now get out and send him in.
Fresh. Step in, Mr. Rainey.
Thank you.
Well, what can I do for you, Mr. Rainey?
I'd like to know how to go about having a person legally committed.
Well, that's easy. You go to a lawyer, not a detective.
I want someone committed to an insane asylum.
Well, then you also need a psychiatrist to examine whoever this is.
Well, you see, my sister, she's the one.
I'm very sorry. The case doesn't seem to concern a private detective. You're in the wrong office. You want me to recommend a good attorney?
I just don't know what I really want, I guess. You see, my sister Rita Phillips.
No detective is qualified. Rita Phillips?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sit right down again, chum. Your brother-in-law came to see me just this morning.
What did he want?
Oh, we can skip that. That would be divulging a client's conversation.
Well, would you help me?
Probably not. The whole pitch you've made doesn't sound legit to me. I don't like clients with phony angles.
Look, I'm leveling, Mr. Abbott. You've got to believe me.
All right, go ahead. Let's try it on for size.
I missed lunch with Pat, of course. He went breezing out with Carl Rainey, and I dined alone. Pat was obviously getting deeper into a case he had little relish for. Maybe dangerously deep.
Now, look, Rainey, we've been driving around for over an hour. Where are we going?
I'm taking you to my sister's house.
You told me that, but where does she live? Mexico City?
Oh, now listen, Abbott.
No, you try doing a little listening, just for a change. You know, this ride hasn't been a total loss. I've been doing a little thinking.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Your sister is playing around with a man named Julian Stewart.
That's a lie.
Now, you know better. So you must have come to my office for only one reason. You want to establish the fact that she's not responsible in case anything should happen.
What are you talking about?
Well, let's assume, just for the sake of argument, that your sister commits a murder. I guess I hit the jackpot, What are you stopping here for?
I want to hear every word of this. Go on, Abbott. You were saying?
I was saying merely that if your sister Rita murdered someone, it would be awfully helpful if you could prove that you had consulted a responsible person before having her committed to an insane asylum. A jury, in that case, might never find her guilty of murder in the first degree. There'd be considerable question about her sanity. That casts extreme doubt on convicting her. She did not know, as they say in legal psychiatry, the nature and quality of her act. That gets us into the intriguing area of lunacy and homicide.
And that's quite a clever theory, Abbott.
It's more than just that, Rainey. It's your gimmick. And it's in operation.
Suppose it is. What do you propose to do about it?
Give the victim ample notice.
I thought I understood an ethical private detective's dealings with his clients are confidential.
Not in this case. You don't sit idly by and watch a man get killed. Suppose you were a psychiatrist. A man comes to you and swears he's going to commit murder. Very convincingly. You going to keep quiet about it? I hardly think so. You'd warn the victim. There's a point where ethics becomes impractical, no?
Just a second. Stay in the car. Where do you think you're going?
Put away that gun, Rainey. That won't stop me.
I said, where are you going?
I'm going to call your brother-in-law, Mr. Walter Phillips, out of common, ordinary decency, and tell him that somebody's planning to kill him.
Okay, so the gun won't work. Maybe something else will. It usually does. How about 1,000, Abbott?
Are you kidding?
3,000, cash. We'll go to my apartment. Get it now.
I'm not for sale, chum. You tried the wrong gambit again.
You're a tough customer. I'm afraid nothing will help me except maybe... pleasant dreams, Mr. Abbott.
All right, Pat. Take a swig of this.
No. That's enough.
Oh, go on, darling. It won't hurt you.
Oh. Where am I, Jean?
On a cot, dear. In the police station.
Police? How'd I get here?
Prowl car picked you up in the park around 2 this morning.
Oh. My head.
Yes, your head's right. The doctor worked quite a while on that noggin of yours. What happened, Pat?
Rainey threw me a curve.
Carl Rainey?
Mm-hmm. Darling, remember when he came to my office and we had to skip eating together?
He a client? You make a deal with it?
Well, sort of.
Well, you better get a new lead on this case.
Why?
He stayed at his sister's house last night. A burglar walked in and...
Yes? What'd the burglar do?
He blew Carl Rainey's brains out.
Well?
Are you Julian Stewart?
Who wants to know?
I do.
Who are you?
I'm a private detective. The name's Pat Abbott.
I don't remember inviting you over.
I have an irritating habit of showing up without an invitation.
Never mind the gags, Abbott.
Please, you'll have to be gentle with me. My head hurts.
What's in your mind, Abbott?
A man named Carl Rainey retained me to have his sister, Rita Phillips, committed to an insane asylum.
He what?
You heard me. He was afraid she'd commit murder.
He's a screwball kid. He was just fooling.
If he was, pal, the joke's on him. He was just murdered.
Why did you come here?
Well, it occurred to me that the killer might have mistaken him for Rita's husband, Walter Phillips. They were both approximately the same size, and Rainey was killed at his brother-in-law's house.
What does Phillips say?
I haven't had a chance to talk to him as yet. First, though, I want to know why you were gunning for him.
Look, friend, why don't you be as smart as you like people to think you are? Why don't you keep your nose clean? Shut up and go back to your 2-bit office and find some lost dogs and pocketbooks.
I like this much better.
Well, you won't like it much here if you stick around. Now get out.
Okay, Mr. Stewart. I may be back, though.
Gee, I don't know if I can wait.
You try gags, too, don't you?
And next time, give me a little notice. You look like such good company, I might want you to meet some of my friends.
Hello?
Rita, this is Julian.
What do you want?
Was Pat Abbott over to see you?
No.
He probably will be. And we got to get together before it happens.
Why?
But don't be stupid, so we can cook up a story.
I don't want to see you, Julian.
That's funny. You never felt that way before?
I do now. You murdered my brother.
Shut up!
You killed Carl.
Now listen, I'll be over to see you in 20 minutes. And if you know what's good for you, you'll be waiting.
Pat, what are you going to see Mrs. Phillips for? The police have already talked to her.
My hunch, Jean, is that she knows more about this murder than she's let on. Rainey's death was probably an accident. The intended victim was Walter Phillips.
You think this is another Snyder Gray case?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Are the police protecting Phillips?
He's on his way to Chicago to attend a director's meeting. Took the train at 4:30.
Well, how do you know?
Got it from his secretary. And if that's not enough, I also talked to the red cap who put him on the train.
Is this the house?
Mm-hmm. Careful now.
Do you think she'll talk to you alone?
She'd better.
She will. You're the persuasive type.
When my wife's with me, I'm persuasive.
That's why she's with you. There are all kinds of persuasion a man can use on a woman, and some of them I don't like. Oh, darling, maybe we're wasting time. Doesn't seem to be anybody home.
Okay, then. I'll have to open the door.
With what?
I got keys.
How?
Oh, I got ways, too. Locksmiths in the neighborhood. Servants. Here we go.
Pat, this is housebreaking.
Oh, I'm on police business, my dear girl. I'm trying to solve one murder and stop another one. Man's life is at stake. Here we are. This one does it.
Oh. Lovely home. Pat, look.
Where?
End of the foyer. Is that Rita Phillips on the floor?
Yes, it is.
Oh, what's wrong with her?
It's the late Rita Phillips, Jean. She's dead.
Did you call the police?
Yes, they're coming right over. I want a closer look at Rita. Mm-hmm. She was obviously beaten to death. The killer's weapon smashed that watch she had on, you see?
Yes, it stopped at exactly 4:30.
We're in this deep, sweetheart. I wish somebody else had found this body.
Why?
Because we're not impartial witnesses anymore. We're mixed up in it, but good.
Pat, where are you going?
The prowl car will be here in a second. You wait out front for them and tell them what happened. I'm going over to see Julian Stewart. There might never be a better time.
Yes?
Hello, Mr. Stewart. I said I might be back.
And I said I didn't want you back. I threw you out once. Do I have to do it again?
Where were you at 4:30 this afternoon?
Why?
That happens to be the time Rita Phillips was murdered.
Are you kidding?
Now, don't waste time playing games, Mr. Stewart. Didn't you know she'd been killed? Better answer that door first.
Come in.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Walter Phillips.
What are you doing here, Abbott? This is most inopportune.
That's a masterpiece of understatement, Phillips. Your secretary told me you were on your way to Chicago. Also, I spoke to a red
Yes,
cap.
I was on the train, but I got off after a few stops. I suddenly remembered that I had unfinished business here.
Mm-hmm. Shall I guess what it was?
Can you?
Sure. You were going to kill Mr. Stewart here.
You're quite right. Now tell me, in your expert opinion, would a jury convict me?
You're crazy.
I don't think so, Stewart. Especially when I'm sure Rita will give evidence in my behalf.
Now you're wrong. Your wife won't testify.
I know her better, my friend.
Yes, but obviously you haven't seen her lately. She's been murdered.
What? Rita's been... Oh, no.
Yes, it's true. I'm sorry. I just came from your apartment.
You're lying.
I hardly think so.
Who did it?
I was just going to ask Mr. Stewart about that, but suppose we ask you first.
Me? Why?
Because you're the most obvious suspect. Your wife was playing you for a chump. And a man like you would never take that lying down.
That's a ridiculous assumption. It would never hold water.
Well, then you shouldn't mind supplying all the evidence for the alibi, should you?
At 4:30 this afternoon, I was in the dining car aboard train 707. Now, if you'll permit me...
Oh, why? Give me that gun.
Certainly, Mr. Abbott. There you are. Oh, don't waste time examining Julian Stewart. I'm an excellent shot. I shan't fight you at all, as you can see. I handed you my gun. Any jury will agree I had ample justification to kill him.
Surely.
And I will go scot-free.
Maybe. There's just two other items. You also killed your wife and Carl Rainey.
What?
In those instances, Mr. Phillips, the jury will believe me, not you.
Okay, Pat, start bragging.
I never brag, darling. Imagine after all I did for Walter Phillips, he goes on a maniac murder hunt.
Well, tell me why he killed Carl Rainey.
Well, that's easy. That was to frame Julian Stewart. You see, Rainey and Phillips were about the same size. When Rainey was murdered, it looked like an attempt by Stewart that had boomeranged. Only the police couldn't make it stick. So, being a man with purpose, Phillips then went on to murder number two.
His wife?
Mm-hmm. His wife. The lovely, green-eyed would-be divorcee. Oh, she was really...
Yes, darling. Well, never mind what she was. Just explain the case, you wolf.
Well, you see, the police couldn't help but believe then that Stewart had killed Carl Rainey by accident. And then done away with Rita to shut her mouth.
Yes, Pat, but what put you on the right track?
Well, Phillips pretended the murder of his wife was news to him. Yet, without ever being told when she died, he was ready with his alibi for the exact time.
I see, but didn't she die at 4:30? No?
No, of course not. Phillips killed her around 2. Then he set the hands of her watch ahead.
Oh, darling, nice going.
You understand it all now?
Yes, I understand everything but one part of it.
Oh, and that was?
Those green eyes of hers. Pat, did they really flip you more than mine?
Well,
Or is your wife just a worn piece of merchandise lying on a shelf somewhere?
Oh, that reminds me.
Reminds you of what?
Come here. Closer, much closer. That's better.
Oh, tired stock, that's what I am. Property you take for granted. Pat, why are you looking at the calendar?
The date. Speaking of property, it's time to take inventory.
The National Broadcasting Company has presented The Adventures of the Abbotts, starring Claudia Morgan and Mandel Kramer as those popular personalities of detective fiction, Pat and Jean Abbott, created by Francis Crane. The cast included Louis Van Ruten, Nancy Sheridan, and Chester Stratton. The Adventures of the Abbotts was written by Howard Merrill. Original music composed and conducted by Dewey Bergman. Produced by Ted Lloyd and Bernard L. Schubert. Directed and recorded by Harry Frazee. This is Wayne Howell speaking. Next week, same time, same station. Another exciting adventure in crime with Pat and Jean in The Adventures of the Abbotts.
Adventures of the Abbotts has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
After all, there are two sides to being one of the prettiest and wealthiest girls in the world. You have all the money anybody could want and all the enemies.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of the Abbotts, starring Claudia Morgan and Mandel Kramer as Pat and Jean Abbott, those popular characters of detective fiction created by Francis Crane. NBC invites you to join Pat and Jean each week at this time for an exciting recorded adventure in romance and crime. Now here is Claudia Morgan as Jean Abbott to set the stage for tonight's puzzle in murder.
The gorgeous and very rich girl I mentioned was destined to become involved with my husband, Pat Abbott, a private detective in San Francisco. The best. Well, this case began on the top floor in room 4C of a shabby rooming house by the San Francisco waterfront. A thin, nervous little man named Wally Russell was puffing away at a cigarette. From time to time, Wally would steal a glance at a cheap alarm clock on his dresser. Wally had an appointment with an exquisite blonde. Oddly enough, he wasn't looking forward to it.
Who's there? It's Kay Braddock. I'd like to see Mr. Wally Russell, please.
Wally Russell? Sorry, he ain't in.
Could you tell me where I might find him? I'm sure he was expecting me.
No, I can't tell you.
Well, could I trouble you to give him a package?
Okay. Wait a minute. All right, Miss Braddock. Where's the dough?
How did you know it was money?
Well, didn't you say so?
No, I did not.
Well, I guess I must have misunderstood
No,
you.
you didn't misunderstand anything. You know perfectly well what you're talking about. You're Wally Russell.
Me? You're crazy.
Where are the letters?
What letters? Look, Miss Braddock, what do you mean?
I want those letters, Wally. Now, do I get them? Or do I have to...
Put the gun away. Look, lady, it might go off.
It certainly might.
All right. I'm Wally Russell, but I haven't got your letters.
You're a liar.
Look, I swear to you, I haven't got the letters. I haven't got them. They were stolen from me this afternoon.
I don't believe you.
Look, lady, why should I pull a phony? Didn't you say you'd buy them back?
Who stole them?
Well, I don't know.
I'm warning you, Wally. I'll take this gun.
Easy now. Easy, don't... It was Pat Abbott.
Who's Pat Abbott?
He's a private detective.
Why should he steal the letters?
Well, he's had a bad run of luck lately. He's not been making any dough. He probably figured his price to you could even be higher than mine, you see.
Well, then he gives you a cut, huh?
No, so help me, he don't. I got nothing to do with him.
Heaven help you if you've made this story
Wait
up.
a minute, Miss Braddock. Where you going?
To see Abbott.
You don't want to just go barging in on him. Look, he might not be ready for you. He might get sore. He might use the letters some way you won't like.
I want to catch him off guard, Wally. That's exactly what I want to do. Catch him when he's not ready for me.
Maybe a psychiatrist could tell you why Pat's name suddenly popped into Wally Russell's mind. Of course, Pat wasn't having bad luck, and he'd never have taken the letters anyway. In fact, Pat's quite unpopular with the underworld because he won't take cases that are even a little bit on the shady side of the law. Well, Pat was in his office going over some reports on recent cases, and when he heard a knock on the door, he opened it and saw this breathtaking canary blonde.
Are you Pat Abbott?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm Kay Braddock.
Oh, I recognize you. I saw your picture in the magazines.
Aren't you going to invite me in?
Hmm? Oh, certainly. It isn't very lavish in here, but come in. Come in, have a seat.
Thank you.
Now then, what can I do for you, Kay?
I'm Miss Braddock, if you don't mind.
Very well. And you can call me Pat.
I could call you a lot of things.
Like what, for instance?
Oh, a rotten blackmailer, for instance. A cheap crook.
Why would you do that?
Where are my letters?
Where's what?
My letters? You speak English, do you not? Perhaps not well, but enough to understand simple words.
What letters are you talking about?
The ones you stole from Wally Russell. I'll buy them back.
Look, maybe you'd better go outside and come in again. I lost my place.
Stop stalling, Abbott. I'm warning you. I'll make one offer, and that's it. 25,000?
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Would this make it any clearer?
The gun? No. No, I've seen them before. And they've also been pointed at me before by overexcited females. So put it away. Look, I won't get hurt playing games like this, but you will.
Wait, you unspeakable...
All right, I'll take that.
Let go. Let go. Let go of that gun. Let go. All right. I'm so desperate.
I'll just keep it here in my drawer. This is National Safety Week.
Hey, you all right? What's been happening?
Harvey wouldn't give them to me.
I told you to let me handle this, Kay.
Why? Would you have been any better at it?
Yes, my fine high-class Seamus. I would have been much better at it. Katie, you go on home.
You leave me here with that.
All right. All right, Harvey, but please be careful.
Must you leave so soon, Miss Braddock? You came in here, called me dirty names, cracked me in the face. It's been charming. I hate to see you go.
Oh, that's very funny. See if you find Harvey just as amusing.
Okay, Abbott. Where are the letters? Well, which ones do you want? The sad one that I wrote to the tax bureau or the happy one I wrote to Santa Claus?
You're just full of side-splitting remarks today, aren't you?
Because I'm a little peeved, if you don't mind, chum. I never heard of any letters. And a bunch of characters come marching in waving guns at me and asking for them. I just don't dig it.
I want the 3 letters Kay wrote to me. She'll buy them back.
Why should she? You both read them, didn't you?
Because Kay is to be married, that's why. And if Everett, that's Lord Glenview, if he ever sees him, he'll call it off.
Judging by all the signs, you shouldn't want the marriage to take place anyway. Looks to me like you're torching for Kay.
What of it? She'd be much better off with him. He's rich, too. Famous, distinguished family. She's a blue blood. I'm nothing. I disgrace her. Now, where are the letters?
I've told her and I tell you, I don't know anything about any letters. Now, stop acting like a child. If I had them and I wanted to sell them, I'd talk price, wouldn't I? She offered me 25 big ones.
Wally Russell said...
Well, whoever Wally Russell is, he's a phony. That was a line. I don't know why he mentioned me. He probably saw my name somewhere and got into a tough spot.
Why should he do this, though? He's admitted stealing the letters from my apartment.
I don't know why he should do it. I just came in myself.
You know something, Abbott? I believe you.
I'm deeply touched. Now, if Miss Braddock would like me to represent her, I could talk to this Wally Russell.
Thanks. Never mind. Wally's one job I should be able to handle myself. Come on in, Wally. Happy to see you.
Harvey?
It's Mr. Scott to you.
Well, look, how did you get into my room?
The superintendent let me in. I told him you were expecting me.
But you got no right to do that.
Wicked at me, huh? Lying that way?
Look, I mean, Mr. Scott, I know why you're here. Look, I told Miss Braddock the truth. Those letters of yours were really swiped from me.
Sure, by a private detective named Pat Abbott. You'll have to do better. I just saw him.
You did? Well, he's lying then. He's covering up.
I hardly think so.
Look, why should I send you to him? Didn't the dame offer to buy him back? What kind of a merry-go-round would it be if I made it all up?
Where are those letters?
Oh, you got it out.
You're
joking me.
You don't tell me.
There goes my neck, you crazy.
I've had enough. I've had enough of you slimy thief.
Pat thought he'd heard the last of Miss Braddock and her letters, but apparently he hadn't. Several hours after Harvey Scott dropped in on Wally Russell, I was with Pat in his office.
And why are you so thoughtful-looking, sweetie?
Well, darling, the letters I wrote you. Remember them?
Sure. I used to be embarrassed to go on mail call on the Pacific. Every Marine in the outfit waited to see me get your letters.
You didn't read them aloud, did you?
Of course not. But they knew the kind of stuff that was in them.
Oh. They were beautiful love letters. Poetic, sensitive.
And 6 cents short.
That's very unromantic.
Darling, if only you understood the postal
I
rate.
was just wondering. Now, what can a woman say in a love letter that's worth $25,000 to get the letter back?
I'll ask her.
Ask who?
Kay Braddock. 5 will get you 10. This is Miss Braddock. Hello?
Mr. Abbott,
Speaking?
this is Kay Braddock. What do you want for those letters?
Oh, not that again.
I said, what's your price?
Well, there isn't any. I don't know anything about it. Harvey Scott just went to get them back from Wally Russell.
I know he did. Harvey's here now.
Didn't he get them?
No.
Put him on.
Just a second. Harvey, he wants to talk to you.
Abbott,
Yes. I take it you didn't do too well with your friend Wally.
you take it right.
Does he still say I have the letters?
He does.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, since you laid an egg up there, how about giving me a crack at it?
a free country.
No. I want an authorization. I don't work that way. I will represent Miss Braddock and put an end to this blackmail scheme, and my fee is $500. I'll return the letters to her.
And you do have them.
Of course not. Don't be a sap. But I'll find them. Look, why should I offer them to her for $500 if she said she'd pay $25,000?
Hold on. He says, why would he give them away for $500? All right, Abbott. You're hired.
Right. You'll hear from me.
Well, you got a job, dear?
Yeah, and a rough one. Give me a straight bank robbery anytime, not this blackmail, hanging up everybody's dirty wash.
Pat.
Hmm?
Would you love me more if I were an exquisite blonde with, $1 million?
Of course not.
You couldn't love me more,
No, do you know what kind of taxes I'd have to pay?
I hate you. I hope the murderer in this case starts after you with a gun, a bottle of poison, and a carving knife.
You may get your wish, pal. Sooner than you think.
Pat decided to go over to Wally Russell's place, and, well, I persuaded him to let me go along. You know, he grumbles all the time about my being in the way, but he also knows my woman's intuition has paid off in a lot of cases.
Wally? Wally Russell?
He isn't here, Pat.
Wait a minute, I'll turn on this light.
Pat, look. On the bed under that blanket.
All right, you just stay where you are, Jean. I'll take a look. Well, that gets Wally Russell off the suspect list. The hard way.
Pat, the room looks so upset. Was he strangled?
Well, there are throat marks, Jean, but actually he was killed by a knife. This knife.
Oh. Was he killed by the same person who tried to strangle him?
Not necessarily. You know, this development will make things very difficult for me, Jean. I was working for Kay Braddock. The police might try to detain me.
Oh, well, darling, they know you're on the right side of the ball game.
Yes, but if it's a very mystifying case, they'd need some action. They'd have to show some results. They might try grilling me for a while. Look around. Let's see if we can find any letters.
I'll try, dear. No. Nothing much here in this drawer.
There's nothing much in the room, I'd say. No desk, no cabinets.
Darling, where are you going?
Come on, Jean. We'll report this to the police. Then I want to have a little chat with the canary blonde heiress.
Kay, darling.
Yes, Everett.
You know you love England, especially my estate at Glenview. They say there's a legend. They say that honeymooners...
Everett, I want to ask you something.
Of course, darling.
Suppose your family doesn't approve of me.
Approve of you? Oh, why shouldn't they?
I'm an American. I'm not royalty.
Oh, please, don't be absurd.
Well, it's probably the mailman. Why don't you look at a magazine, dear? I'll be right back.
Very well, darling.
1 second, please. Just a minute.
Oh.
Hello, Miss Braddock. Remember me, Pat Abbott?
No, I'm sorry. I'm afraid we've never met.
What's that?
I've never seen you before in my life.
Oh, knock it off, Miss Braddock. You retained me to recover some letters that Wally Russell stole from Harvey Scott. Now, let's not play games, I'm getting a little impatient.
I haven't the slightest idea of what you're talking about.
Next, you'll be saying you never heard of Harvey Scott.
It's true. I haven't.
Then it wouldn't interest you to know that Wally Russell is dead.
It would not.
Particularly if you killed him.
I must ask you to leave, Mr. Abbott.
I may have to refuse, Miss Braddock.
And that would be extremely rude, Mr.
Abbott. Pat Abbott.
Well, I'm Everett Seabury, Lord Glenview.
Are you?
The tone of your voice indicates you don't believe it, and I resent that.
I'm afraid I can't be responsible for what you read into what I say.
Well, my dear sir, I don't know who you are.
I'm a private
or
detective.
what you want.
but you're obviously upsetting my fiancée. And I suggest that you leave.
Well, I'm sorry, but there's been a murder.
Don't listen to him, Everett.
Miss Braddock wants you to go, Mr. Abbott.
Well, that's too bad. You see, I have a little speech prepared, and I was hoping to make it.
Well, you...
Oh!
Pat, dear, how do you feel?
Like a big dope. Keeping my eye on that blonde.
Well, I told you to cut that out.
If I wasn't watching her, I'd have seen this Englishman coming with that Sunday punch. Come to think of it, I did kind of spot it coming, but he scored anyway.
Well, he would have.
Why? They don't usually get me.
Darling, he used to be an amateur heavyweight champ.
You did?
When you first mentioned the case to me, I looked up Lord Glenview's background. He was on the English team in the last Olympics.
No wonder.
Well, they packed you off into the elevator. They left you in the lobby. I came along to pick you up and found you groggy but happy. Dumped you in this cab and... Well, you caught up now.
Caught up on everything but who stabbed Wally Russell.
Well, who did, Pat?
I don't know who. I can guess why, though. Because of the letters that Kay wrote Harvey Scott. The killer must have them now.
How can you be sure?
Well, they weren't in Wally's apartment, and they're too valuable to destroy.
In other words, find the fan mail and you find the boy.
Let's go to police headquarters.
Oh, darling, what for?
Well, maybe I can persuade them that I can crack the case if they send Harvey, Kay, and Everett a wire to go to my office.
Well, what for?
That's elementary, my dear Jeannie. Gives me time to search all their apartments.
Find anything, Pat?
No, not a thing, Jean. We better hurry. There's no telling how long before Harvey Scott comes back here to his place.
Look.
Well, what's all that?
Birdcage, roulette wheel, poor man's Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Now, Harvey Scott must get pretty busy. Wonder if his landlord knows what's going on up here.
I think so.
What? Oh, hello, Harvey. I thought you'd be at my office.
Sorry if I embarrassed you. I forgot my wallet. I presume you know searching my apartment can only be done by the police. If they have a warrant.
I sometimes forget the social amenities.
Get out. Both of you. I can't stand cheap kibitzers butting into everybody's business.
Also, I'm allergic to remarks like that. Isn't that odd?
Isn't it also quite legal if I find someone ransacking my premises for me to shoot?
Is that an academic question?
No. I mean it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll, run along.
I suppose you ran through Kay's apartment, too.
You know, it's funny. I don't remember.
You ruined Kay. You won't live to regret it, Mr. Detective.
Frankly, what's your angle in this? Just frustrated romance?
What do you think?
Well, I can't believe that you're just a knight in shining armor.
Don't worry about it, then. Forget the whole case.
Did Kay buy you off?
Get out. Stay out. And you.
Yes, what about me? I'm Mrs. Abbott.
Take care of your husband, Ann. Extra good care. He's liable to have an accident.
You got the key, darling?
Well, it's hard to find, Pat. You and I go sneaking into so many places, I can never find the key to your office. Now, wait, I'll look in my purse. Pat, I don't understand. No letters at Harvey's, none at Kay's. What do you think about Lord Glenview?
Well, he could be a fake.
Well, then how come I found all that background on him?
You didn't find too much. Being fast with his hands, he could have patterned himself on the genuine article. Look, Jean, we could try a bluff.
Darling, here's the key.
Oh. Well, Lord Glenview, how did you get in here?
Well, shall we say this epidemic of housebreaking is contagious, and shall we leave it at that?
Where's Kay?
Well, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting this lovely lady.
My wife. Where's Kay?
How do you do? Well, I thought the two of us should have a chat, Mr. Abbott. She may be by later.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you like to chat about?
I'd like to know why you are annoying Kay.
I was working for her.
So you said when we first met. Now, who is Harvey Scott?
Why don't you ask Kay?
Well, because I would prefer to get the information from you.
Well, I'm afraid you're wasting your time. And besides, by opening up this little can of peas, you might run into some questions you won't like.
Can of peas, eh? For instance?
Well, suppose your title is a fake, and suppose Kay should find out.
Yes. Go on.
You might put a few dollars aside by cashing in on the letters yourself. Even if she doesn't marry you, she'd want them destroyed.
You know, that's a very ingenious theory, Abbott. But I don't know what letters you're talking about.
You don't? All right, then we'll skip that for the moment.
I hardly think so.
Pat, it won't be a sock in the jaw this time. That gun he has... Oh. Well, this time, thank heaven, you were ahead of him, Pat.
Yes, darling, but it's too bad I had to smash your favorite vase in my lord's noggin. Well, maybe I can find another vase.
No, you'll never find one like that, dear.
Why?
You see what's inside?
Hey, good girl. Letters. From Kay Braddock to Harvey Scott. I'll just relieve my lord of that gun. He'll be coming around in a minute.
Pat, I'll visit you in the death house.
What do you mean?
Well, you said the killer was the man who had the letters. Well, you had him, pal, right here in your own office. In my favorite vase. Incidentally, I do wish you'd chosen another place to hide them.
Oh, stop the clowning. I have to figure out who planted those letters here, and
Perhaps we can assist you, Abbott.
Harvey Scott.
Everett, darling.
My husband, count him, Miss Braddock.
With a vase, inside of which, Miss Braddock, I found the missing letters.
Let me have them.
Just 1 second. You're forgetting something.
You'll get money.
I don't want the money. I want the killer. One of you charming people tried to frame me.
It certainly wasn't Kay.
How can you be so sure, Harvey?
She was with me all afternoon.
Where were you at 3:30?
Why?
That's when Wally Russell was murdered.
I said she was with me.
And I said, where were you?
Well,
we were having a drink at the Fraser Bar.
Why don't you keep out of this, Harvey?
Harvey gave you the answer.
But it wasn't the right one. Now, let's face it, Miss Braddock, you don't have an alibi. But you may not be put on the stand.
Why?
That would be up to you. Shall she testify against you?
Me?
Certainly. You killed Wally Russell.
Really?
Now, don't try to leave, chum. I said don't... Just winged you, Mr. Scott. You wouldn't listen. But you'll have plenty of time for listening now. You know, might have paid you to listen before to what you said was a, fine, high-class Seamus like me.
Harvey Scott was packed off to the clink. And a few days later, Kay Braddock came to see Pat.
Well, where's his lordship, Miss Braddock?
Well, I wouldn't know, Mr. Abbott. My original suspicion was correct. His family didn't approve of me.
Oh?
Especially after I was mixed up in a lurid crime. Oh, I think I owe you some money.
Well, I'll mail you a bill.
May I be a little curious?
Sure.
Why did Harvey do it?
I'm afraid the truth might be an awful blow to your pride.
Oh?
All you meant to him was money in the bank.
Well, then, why was he so concerned about the letters?
You see, Wally never stole those letters from Harvey's apartment. Harvey gave them to him to shake you down. Then Wally got smart. He figured why work on a percentage basis with Harvey when he could claim the letters were stolen from him and collect the full amount.
Oh, no. So that's why Harvey was so upset when the letters disappeared.
Mm-hmm. He knew Wally was double-crossing him, so after squeezing the truth out of him and then recovering the letters, he killed him.
But, why did he plant the letters in your office?
Because they were hot. You see, we all knew that they supplied the motive for Wally's death.
Mm-hmm.
But Harvey couldn't bring himself to destroy them. With your bankroll, those letters could be converted into cash at any time. He could always get in to see me at my office and try removing them on some pretext.
How did you know he was guilty?
Elimination. Everett didn't know about the letters. And you, well, if you had killed Wally, you're the one person who would have destroyed the letters, so, that left Harvey.
I should have let you handle everything from the beginning.
Well, I guess it might have been a little easier at that.
Yeah, it might have been more fun, too.
There'd have been a killjoy, though, Miss Braddock.
Oh, how do you do? Your wife.
It's no dice where Pat's concerned, Miss Braddock.
Oh? Don't you like blondes, Mr. Abbott?
Oh, yes, I certainly... No, I...
Oh, and don't you like wealthy women, Mr. Abbott?
Yes, of course. I mean, they... No.
It's just that he loves his wife more than any other woman. Isn't it, Pat?
No. Yes.